Okay, so if you're gonna do this job, you're crazy. Don't attempt it. Don't even try. Seriously, it's fucking hard. I've probably got 15 hours into this job alone. When I finally figured out the wiring, I probably got 3 to 4 hours on each side. Now, if you just do the turn signals only, it'll be quicker. But I decided to do the courtesy lights too. But even then, you're going to have to pull the harness out of the door and then run the wire from the connectors. Okay? And then, for some fucking reason, the wires Toyota's used, you can't solder to some of them. I've tried different solders, different flux, everything. No solder sticks to it. I don't know what it is. It's got to be some terrible fucking wires. But it's fucking garbage.
The first thing you do is you identify this connector right here. So after you look at the drawing, you're going to verify that pins 44 and 27 are the signals for the turn signal. Put your multimeter on that and go to ground, and it will flash on and off. Use your min-max function. It'll be easy to do. Now, if you're going to go as far as I am and add the lights right here too, which this particular off-road doesn't have, you need to go to pins 1 and pins 2. Pin 2 is red, constant hot, and it's switched through ground, and that's pin 1. So you got to splice these wires. Now, I'm just going to splice 1, 2, and 4, and I'm going to put it onto a connector. Alright, so in the passenger door side here, you got to undo all the cables up top, pull them all out of this white piece here, pull all the stuff out of this bottom one too. This one here, if you look, there's looks like a divot there that goes on the bottom. On the top, I don't know if you can really see this too well, but you got to kind of get your finger in here, or what I used is a dental pick right here to push down on the tab, just like this one right here, and then get it loose. This one, same thing, exact same thing. Push down right here with a screwdriver and pull it out. You don't really need this one out, but at this point here, just take it out. Makes everything easier. But just remember, before you do any of this stuff, disconnect the battery. So now we are at this side here. So the connector is in the door. Let's see if that light works better here. There's these tabs right here. There's 4 on each side. You need to pull this thing out. Push it from this side here and push it out. There's no other way to disconnect it. This is fucking asinine what they did here. But whatever. This needs to come out. Then when you get to this portion here, flick this tab up. Okay, let's go through this here. I'm going to put links to all these drawings that I have, and then so what we're going to do now is verify it. So pin 4 right here on this connector is supposed to be the turn signal, so we're going to verify that right now. So that one starts up here. That starts all the way at pin 5 on this particular one, which is, if you look right here, pin 5. So we'll go in here, hook up to it, then we'll take this side here, little probe on there, then we're going to verify it. So we're going to go in here, go down, bingo, there we go, that is correct. Now, the other one I'm doing, I don't know, not everybody's going to do this one here, but I'm going to add the lights in the door also, the courtesy lights. So this is the pin for the courtesy lights. So we're going to go with the red one first, make sure that one's good. And then, if I'm correct on this here, it should be this pin right here, the first one. So that should be number 20, that should be number, number 26. Sorry, not number 26, number 17. Easy to get that from here. And that is correct. We'll test the green one now. Correct. So now we're going to go through the pins. Alright, so I crimped this. Use a good crimper to do this. These are pretty special pins. They're specific to Toyota. I got them off Unique Systems. Now I'm going to put 2 more pins on this guy here too. They're going to be male. They're a different size. And then these guys I'm going to feed over to the other side for the door light. Alright, so the old harness is now removed. I've just started putting in the new harness here. So we're just orientating everything. I'm going to do the connection to the truck first and then get all this stuff put back together properly. The harness is in the door now. I just got to string the wires, so I'll go from there. Alright, here we are. We are at this stage now. I've swapped out the harnesses. I had to, for the door pin over here, I had to solder in the connection because it's different. However, everything else went back in correctly. It's pretty nicely built. I'm just going to start modifying this wire now to accept the new pin, which I'm going to post pictures of next. And everything is back together here. I have my Deutsch connectors just sitting there loose right now. I'm going to hook them up a bit later. But as for that, sitting back there, I just got to hook her in. Alright, we're at this point now. Fold this in. You're going to need to get this piece off. So this piece is going to come off. 2 screws, pull it off. Here's the new part. Go straight in there. There's a screw hole here. You're going to have to source screw mount it. But here's the 2 wires for it. Pretty straightforward. That's it. So that works fine. I just wanted to test the fit on it. Now we're going to run the 2 wires. So right here, if you pop the bottom of the cap, you could easily squeeze a wire through there. The easiest thing to do would be to take this red tape off, because there's a joint here, tape it up when you're done, and just stick the wire through. Alright, okay. It is fully wired in here. As you can see, the blue wire is going for the signal, and I just spliced onto the negative over here, so it goes and grounds itself out. We're going to test it out before we call it a day here. So I'm going to hook all this stuff up, and then we're going to test the signal out before we put the power to it. Okay, so on the driver's side, this one's a little bit different. So you got to look at this drawing right here. I'm going to upload it. You have pins 59, 32, and 4 of AJ1. So just so you know, there's nothing in 32. There's nothing in pin 4. You have to go to pin 32 on mine. So I have it hooked up to pin 32 right there. The multimeter is... It is flashing on and off. If you do min-max function, it will come up to about 12 volts. So that is the pin I need. So I'm going to cut that, splice it in, and go from there. SR5 guys, you're going to have to look at all these pins here and figure out which ones come out. So multimeter with a tool there like this, and you put it into the connector here using a little pin or staple. That works best on these ones here, and then it'll pick up the voltage. That's how you figure out which wire you need to splice into. Then we're gonna get this guy out, and that's gonna give us access to the plug inside of here. I don't know if you can really see it too well. Let's get another light. There is a plug down there that has to come out. And right here, pull this back, pull the rubber back, push the rubber grommet into here too, gives you some extra space. And see these pins right here that I'm pushing on? Let's see, focus here. There we go. There's one here, and two on the back side. You have to simultaneously do the two on the top, push it from the inside here, and do the same thing for the bottom. Then you pull it out, undo this latch, and it'll come undone. All right, let's look over what I did. This wire right here, which piggybacks off AJ1 here, goes into this connector, which is going to go out to the door. And I'll put a part number in the description there regarding the pin you have to use for this one. Put it into pin number 4. Now these two wires I'm just doing for the shits and giggles of it. This is for the courtesy door light. So I'm going to wire it into the other side. The wire is already done on the other side. I just got to tie it in. I have a Deutsch connector ready to go for that. Just have to finish wiring it. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is pull out the harness and swap it out with the one I got off of TRD Off-Road. So we're going to take all this stuff off here. Okay, so if you can see this correctly, I had to put it connected in the jam and hook it back up that way. Now I'm going to put the rubber boot back over it and then click it in. It just literally clicks in at that point. All right, doors back together. Wiring in the door is done. All this stuff is back together. Now we're going to pull the entire piece out here and dismantle it and run the pins we need to. There we go. Oh, probably broke something. Oh yeah, definitely broke something there. Fuck. All right, now we got that off. We'll take these. There's 2 screws holding this backing plate assembly off. We're gonna take all that out. I think that's screwdriver. There it is. There are 3 screws you got to get out. And then, you got to make sure the mirror is folded. So this whole thing will come out. Now we're gonna remove the mirror. All right, step 1, take the red tape off this area here. This wire is purposely left longer, so you're gonna have to splice onto that ground. This stuff all comes apart. There's another piece of tape here you gotta take apart. I'd rather move this over here, it makes it easy. And then right here is another piece that's gonna come out here. So there's 2 tabs here that allow you to take it out. Just kinda gotta be careful doing it so you don't break it. Then you just lift it off. There you go. I didn't even break it. So now you have the wire that goes straight up. The easiest thing to do is put a slit right down the center of it here. Don't cut too deep. You always tape that up so it's no big deal. Now, so basically it's just a piece of stainless steel, mechanics wire. I'm going to stick it through here like I'm fishing. Alright, so ran the 2 new wires in, the white one and the blue one. The blue one's going to be the main power for the signal. Black is spliced onto the black, which was extra wire. I'm going to solder it all together here. Now, got some of this 4-to-1 liquidite here. Let's try this out. I haven't tried this in a long time. Hot. Nice good joint. Well, let's heat that up now. Stuff is actually pretty good. It goes 4-to-1. shrinks and it puts liquid inside of there, so this stuff will not leak. Now, let's terminate the wire here. Now, we've got a pin here for this. I'll give you a part number for this later on. Ow, hot. Hot, 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 hot. It's hot. Tight. Now we just squeeze this guy into pin number 5. Make sure they're nice and tight in there. There you go. Clicks. Good to go. That is the correct one. Now, we've done this. Take some of my tape. Tape everything back up the way it was. Guy here has to be taped right here. Just basically so it doesn't move. Then goes back in like so. That gets put back in, so it's back in its original position. You can take this piece, we're back now. Now we work on the top portion of it, so we're going to tape it back up just the way it was. Just to slow the ingress of water, really. Nice and tight. Now, here's your 2 wires for your parts. There you go. It's now working. So, these are temporary until I can get some proper connectors for these, but for now they'll do just fine. Just throw them in here. But there is a little bit more that has to be done. And the trim piece needs to be trimmed. So I got this plastic piece refitted in here. Now it doesn't sit quite correctly on here, so a little bit has to be trimmed out here. So you just mark it and you trim it. Not a lot has to be trimmed off.
go. That fits almost perfectly. Now I'll just throw the screws in. Now, we're going to end up trimming the top cap. So what I have are these cap covers here, which I picked up for pretty cheap there. You put them right on top of it. You take your original one, mark it out with a pen, and just trim it. I'm just going to go cut this now. Trimmed using some hand tools. Oh, almost. A little bit more to trim off. Oh, please don't break. All right, let's try it again. And there we go. It was a factory fit. Look at that. Looks good. Pretty happy now. It's pretty easy install. They do work just fine. There's the paw coming out. See it better when it's night out. But glad my wiring worked out. So after doing this turn signal upgrade, come to the conclusion, if you can buy it with it, just pay the extra. This was a lot of work. It's quite difficult to do.